Okay, so here we go again. In between my numerous, what looks like interview shot series, I try and get in some of the fast forward podcast series. Seems to be the idea was to do it the other way around, but loads of musicians seem to be coming in more than the general conversations, but it's still all good. Anyway, this is Fast Forward Podcast episode number 2. And this one is with Nana D, my boy Nana D. We've, what can I say? He's my brother. We've known each other for over 20 years. So, if, and out of those 20 years, most of those years were spent as a duo, well, not as just a duo, we were spent in a hip hop group first as oh, numerous things: TNT, Afrolistics, UK Listics, The Creeps, production, writing, all kinds of things. We don't even get into half of that, but we'll do that later on as it goes along. But anyway, yeah, Nana D comes in. We talk about anything and everything because that's the sort of chats we have. That's the sort of chats we've always had. And it's just straight up and brutal, like reality. But yeah, anyway, so enjoy this one. Hope hope it all sounds good to you. We are Fast Forward Podcast that you can find us on blip.tv. We are kwa.me/blog. And it's also twitter.com /KWA_ME. Yeah, so enjoy. I hope you find this interesting. I'm trying to keep it moving. And yeah, I'll stop waffling. Let's go.
Record means rewind, a gunshot means forward, 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 forward.
Okay, well, yeah, it looks like we're rolling, man. So,
Cool. What's going on, KL?
yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. How about you, Mr. Nana D?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Just lurking in the shadows and thing.
Yeah, as usual, man. As usual. Like,
So what's
the
happening, man? What's been happening?
okay, right, okay. Well, you want a full rundown? I'll give you a rundown, man. It's not been good, man. You know, well, basically, okay. So if you're seeing me now, like this eye it's always been short sighted. So I've kind of always accepted that. This eye has always been like perfect vision, can see everything, you know. And this eye always does the job for this eye. So in fact, I went to the optician probably about 6 months ago. They had a look and they were like, because I was like, do I need glasses or something to kind of help fix it? And they're like, you know what? It doesn't matter even if you were to get glasses, because my brain has started ignoring the signal from this eye. Yeah,
That's nuts.
it just takes the signal from this eye. It takes like spatial details from this eye, puts the two together, most of the time I see perfectly. Yeah, but now what's happened is that because of the whole sickle cell flavors, this eye now has developed like a blood vessel, like that's raised in the center of the retina. So there's like a little fuzzy spot that kind of comes up in the middle, which means now both my vision is messed up. And now I can actually, it's like when I can look at stuff on the screen, but I try to read stuff and like words, you end up with like a little blurry spot in the center. So it's kind of making me reconsider pretty much everything I'm doing, basically, because as you know, you need your sight for everything in this world, man.
Yeah, for real.
You
For
know,
real. So I mean, so how do you feel about that, man? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
this, you know what? It's because when the first eye started happening, and I'd get like retinal bleeds in it. When I first saw it happen, that was freaky as hell because what you see is like actually once I woke up and I had it and it was all foggy, you couldn't really see stuff. But I actually saw it happen once and literally inside my eye, because you can't see it on the outside. People look at me and my eyes look fine,
mm,
but actually inside my vision, I saw like a little sort of squirt of like when
yo,
when you drop like a dropper, an eyedropper into water, and you
mm-hmm.
see the liquid, it just slowly like drop in and all slowly mix up. That's exactly what I saw happening in my own vision. And
Yeah, that's nuts,
I
man.
know it was crazy. It was proper crazy. But yes, when that started happening to this eye, that was freaky. But I was always kind of, so I was like, well, I've always got this eye. I can see. So long as it doesn't happen with this eye, I'm all right. And like went down to, I've seen so many like optometrists, I think is what they call them. Seen so many of them, and every time, Nans, without fail, everybody, like, they get everybody there to come and look at my eyes, because it's like what happens with sickle cell is so unique, and they hardly get to see it. It's like they call in everyone, and then I have everyone shining lights in my eyes and having a peek, going, "Oh, that's absolutely fascinating. Fascinating. The classic starburst pattern just in this section over here. Could you up and to the left, please, and then up to the right, and then down." And down to the feet, down to the right, and all the time people just blasting lights into your eyes, man.
Wow, it feels like, you know what I mean, you're like some sort of like lab rat. Do you know what I
You
mean?
know
Where
what?
people are.
It's funny because like you think in the end, I kind of think to myself, if an extraterrestrial was to land here today, man, he'd be in for some shit, man. Because people he'd be proper prodded and poked. They'll be like, right. So how does that work, man? Oh, let's stick a finger up your bum. Oh, how does that work? How do you do that? Because when you've got something different, you just proper get touched up, man.
Well, this is for the very first podcast, but what a great subject to kind of like start things off. Eh? But
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna hide anything.
well, you
It's
just started swinging the conversation to
I've,
being touched up, so you know.
well, I've got to somehow segue into Jimmy Savile, basically. So
Oh man, now like seriously, like I've been away for a while. Yeah, I've been away for a while.
yeah, yeah,
And you know, I've been in the Middle East, and
yeah,
they're kind of like based on Sharia law and
yep,
all type of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, I come back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt safe. Do where I was. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, a person could leave like their passports and like, their mobile phones and wallet, and knowing that nobody will steal that shit. Do you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Nobody will steal that shit. Do you know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
So I've just kind of been in this cocoon, and then as soon as I touch down, like the airport, I'm basically on the underground to come here,
Yeah,
to come home. I want to let me see what's going on in England, like Metro. Do you know what I
that's
mean?
it.
So I checked the Metro, Jimmy Savile.
Got some surprises
Wow,
for
I
you,
can't
man.
believe that dude. Like,
Oh,
I mean,
nuts, man. But come
I
on,
can believe it.
were you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but you know what, mate? It's just like every day there's something new coming out about Jimmy Savile. It's like an
Oh
average.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's like a serial groper. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like a serial groper, like every day. Like,
See,
do you know what
the
I mean?
the, the thing is that because I don't know whether did you ever see the Louis Theroux one with him? The
No.
okay, now that's the thing. When I watched that must have been like over 5 years ago or something like that.
Oh,
But
they did
he
show.
he's
Was that the one where they were like in a car and stuff, and he was like asking him, and was
yeah,
that
I
Louis?
think I think yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think I did see like a little clip
When I
and stuff.
saw that and I watched that, I was like, "There's something wrong with this guy." I instantly I was like, "This." I was just like unsettled. It's one of those things. I couldn't have told you then that I was like, "This dude's a paedophile," but I was like, you know what? There's something not right with this dude, and in fact, it was very much like. It wasn't like I thought there's something wrong with this guy as in like he's a serial killer or whatever. It was just like there's something wrong with this guy in a really weird sexual manner, you know, because
But you've always felt that. You always thought that.
yeah, that's how I felt because
Well,
there's
if you
this.
did, why do you report to the authorities and shit? Like, what a
It's not
bitch.
like I saw him like feeling up people or anything.
It seems like a whole heap of people
But
spanning generation after generation.
they're saying what 6 decades,
Six.
60 years. bruv, that's a long time. It's a
I
long
mean,
time to be doing that. It's a
mm,
long time to be getting away with it.
yeah,
Question is, who's letting him get away with it? Because you can't just say that okay, it's 60 years that oh all the time everybody's been like, oh well, yeah, he's all right, we just let him go. Come on, if people jumped on it, if let me slight segue here for a second, like everybody thought that Michael Jackson was up to something, right? But when you think about it, only two people have come forward to say that he did something to them, and it been in the tabloids or whatever.
mm.
Yeah, am I wrong? I might not have my
Yeah.
numbers
You know
right,
what?
but
It's actually funny. It's actually funny you just said that. You know what I mean? I didn't actually make that connection.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I've just been so shell shocked by Jimmy Savile. But it's crazy. Like, yeah, only about a couple of people supposedly been
yeah.
reported and said that Michael Jackson, blah blah
Okay,
blah.
so yeah,
You know what I mean?
who knows?
While
Maybe
while he was alive,
yeah, while he was
and
alive, but he's
they made
he's yeah,
hoo-ha all about
yeah,
it. You know what I mean? Helicopters, like the aerial view of him coming out the flipping car, and
yeah,
then
exactly.
zoom in, and he's got handcuffs and stuff.
Yeah,
Well, guys, 6 decades, man,
yeah, but
6 decades.
have you seen the numbers? The numbers are staggering. There's like apparently 60 people or something so far. I mean, I'm just I can't remember the numbers for sure, but I'm probably but I'm sure I'm in the ballpark. But apparently like hundreds of people,
Bruv, it's like,
they're coming in all the time.
bruv,
So
like I said, man, he's this a serial groper.
oh
That's what he
yeah,
is.
properly. But then this makes me question everything because it's like if he was able to get away with it for so long, then somebody else is involved because you can't have one dude doing all this for 60 years and nobody pull him up on it.
Well, do you think, because like he's some sort of like pioneer. Even one of my friends told me he was probably one of the first people that, you know, was like to use two turntables in the UK and stuff. And he was such a pioneer, and he probably even created people's like careers, in
Yeah,
front
yeah,
and behind the camera.
yeah,
Do you know what I'm saying? That he had so much clout that they knew that something was up. They knew something was, something's a bit shady about this dude, like with his living in his van and having 12-year-old girls like going in and telling the driver, why don't you just go and have a cuppa? This has supposedly been reported.
yeah.
But, I guess people were probably like too scared or something. Do you know what I mean? To kind of like,
Yeah. But the thing is that it's Jimmy Savile, bruv.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
massive.
okay, yeah, okay. So, okay, maybe I'm losing perspective here. I mean, I moved to England like in the late 80s, so I wasn't here at his real boom and peak time. You know what I'm saying? Like late 70s and early 80s or whatever. And I saw a bit of Jim will fix it or whatever. But it's not like he's like I don't know even like it's not like he's like Noel Edwards or Edmonds or whatever his name is or whatever or like Bruce Forsyth. In fact, I suspect him as well. But anyway, that's
See,
But
like, did he? Was one of his wives like, or the person that he's like married to, like 30 years his senior or some shit? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
what? Which one?
which one? See, that's like, justification. Do you know what I'm saying? Or, uh, like, which one? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, apparently, there's apparently another celebrity that's kind of like embroiled in this whole thing. So,
Yeah.
it actually could be Bruce Forsyth. Do you know what I'm saying?
You
I
know,
mean, you know what? I think, I don't know. I did
basically,
a lot of crazy shit were going down, and in those times, and possibly even now, that people are just too scared to kind of like come out and say something. But my thing is that like 12 years old, man, like a kid, a minor. Come on, man, like.
if you think that's the worst one, if you think that's the worst one, what about the girl in the hospital with like brain damage?
That's disgusting, man. That is just pure, just gross. Not even disgusting, just gross. Saying,
I mean, why would you do that? I mean, where's your mind at to make you do something like that? To make you think that's okay? You know, especially because this is the thing I never understand with celebrities who do stuff like this is because when you're a celebrity, you have women throwing themselves at you, so that's you've got it on tap essentially.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. See, because they've got it on tap. Do you know what I mean? Like, like it's not like you're an average person and you see like, some girl on TV and she's like amazing and like, oh man, and you wish, yeah, you can go out with them, whatever, whatever. They
Mm,
have it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's kind of like, okay, well, I've got everything. I've got all the ladies and whatever, whatever. Everybody wants my time. Everyone wants, I'm big. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think it's also a thing where people think, oh, let's try and you know delve into the dark arts of molestation and shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because I can't have it. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is something that I can't have, so I need to get it. I'm saying, like, the footballers, there's nothing. Footballers, they can get all the ladies. All the ladies are throwing themselves after them, but they feel like they need to just dabble in other things. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they
that's what makes it more exciting.
it's more exciting. And I guess with Jimmy Savile, that was his thing. Do you know what I mean? He just wasn't excited with like his life. Do you know what I mean? So he just felt, it's kind of like, what it is. It's kind of like, I'm so superior. You know what I mean? Like I generate a lot of money for TV stations or whatever and charities and stuff like that from helping people and stuff. And do you know what I mean? And for me to comfort a little girl and stuff, she should be honored. Do you know what I'm saying? To be like, I mean, that's just like crazy. Like, it's just
That's just
you know,
it's nuts, man. I mean, to have because I mean I still think about it and I go, well, just for me, I mean, maybe I'm just because I'm like Mr. Nobody. It kind of I can't see the sense in it, but it doesn't always. It doesn't even seem like he was ever at a stage where it's not like he kind of exhausted. He'd like been out like banging models for time and he just got exhausted of it and now he just thought, well, what next? Well, hey, brain damaged girl in the hospital, this
yeah,
this could be exciting, you know it,
it's nuts because like yeah, I also heard that they took away his headstone, like out of respect to the people who are, sharing the same, the graveyard and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's just nuts. Do you know what I'm saying? I can definitely understand. I can definitely understand that. I was thinking that they probably took away his gravestone because it
because it'd be defaced basically.
and all kinds of craziness. People just, you know what I mean. But just imagine what his family like. I don't know. Has he got like family like kids like that? I don't know.
I don't know because the things are when I remember watching Louis Theroux, and he didn't seem to have a partner of any kind. There were some weird things like his closest relationship was with his mum, and when she had died, I remember she had her room that she had in his massive like house and like compound or whatever he had, and he had preserved it exactly as it was. And he used to like I don't know, he kind of used to go in there and sleep in there sometimes. And I'm not even sure whether he used to like wear her clothes or something, kind of like the whole Norman Bates kind of thing. But it was all a bit like that, and I just thought, you know what, that's all a bit kind of weird, really.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I don't remember him having a partner. They never do, you know. But
yeah, stuff, man.
yeah, it kind of I tell you,
Sorry, man. I think my light just kind of like went a bit nuts.
no, is it? No problem.
Um,
Yeah, hold on. I just quickly pause and let you fix that up, man. Yeah, let's go, man. Yeah. All right. So yeah. So you just quickly.
yeah, so I'm just checking. I'm just checking like his Wikipedia as you do. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Check out the background info.
Mm.
I'll have to leave you to do the info searching because I can barely read, man. You know.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, man. But this is what I was gonna say is that like I heard some information actually which I can't give you strict numbers, but they worried me. I'll try and give you a rough general gist of it with just the proportions alone. Basically, apparently, like in the state of California or something,
Yeah,
you've got like I'm gonna make these numbers up, but it's just to give you the ratio basically. Now, let's say there was a reported of like 10,000 pedophiles in the state of California.
yeah,
Apparently, like you had somewhere in the region of like maybe like 7,000 of them just in Hollywood alone.
yeah,
So that's the ratio you kind of had. You had like a reported amount of like pedophiles in California, and you had the number, and the majority of them were just in Hollywood because obviously being the show business capital. And I thought about that, and when this came out, it just made me think, you know what? It's probably the same thing over here, where you've got um, like the reported amount of like pedophiles and sex offenders or whatever. I bet
mm,
you the majority of them work in the show business. Basically, they might either work, in you know Borehamwood, or they work at the BBC, or they work Elstree, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the studio somewhere, or they're working in the fashion industry, because
yeah,
I bet you those industries are full of them, just because they've got like a steady access to young children, basically. I mean, what would be the best job for somebody of that ilk is to work in one of those industries, you know?
yeah, man. Yeah, man. They need to vet some people, man. I'm telling you, they need to improve their vetting and stuff. Do you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I don't know whether vetting will help, because I think those industries are they're kind of geared up for that sort of thing.
Mm,
It's like when I think about, because this is the thing, like it always bugs me, this is that when you talk to women, their perception of what they think men like is like they think men like women like models, right? And if I had the same conversation with the missus, I have to set her straight. I'm like, look, that is rubbish. It's complete and utter rubbish. Men don't like women like that. Well, maybe I'm generalizing. Maybe I'm trying to speak for most men, but as far as I know, as a man, that's not what I'm after. I like a woman with some curves. You know what I mean? You need a woman who's properly shapely. Like biologically, your brain is tuned in for certain aspects. To appeal to you.
mm,
Women who look like models are mostly attractive because to men who like men, if you see what I'm saying, because they're usually straight up and down. They're quite androgynous looking. They kind of look more blokey than they look feminine. You know what I'm saying? Now, and you've got to remember, when those models come into the scene, they're usually like 13, 14. They have no curves. They have no breasts or anything like that. They're usually flat chested. They look like young boys, basically, and that's what the fashion industry calls for. In fact, that's their remit. That's like their checklist to go, right. Well, does she look like a bloke? Yes. Does she have any breasts? Nope. Check. And yeah, does she look like a? Does she look like a teenage boy? Yes. And then they're happy. You're signed. Basically. Now, unfortunately, that seems to make it makes most women think that that's what men like, but it's so not true. Like if you look at what men like, I'll tell you for starters, if you look at like the cover of something like Vogue, or even Elle and all those magazines, compared to the magazines men buy, like Zoo, FHM, and all the lads mags. Lads mags will tell you what men like. You get me? And it's women with booty and titties, man. You get
mm.
me?
Yeah, for real. I mean, the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing is kind of like you got the power of Photoshop behind you as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
what I mean? It's just like, women that are on these spreads and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? They've been done up to a particular way that is actually physically impossible for women to look
yeah.
like that particular way. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just generally think like, yeah, like, I just generally think that, people were like are completely, out of shift in terms of what real beauty is. Do you know what I'm saying? Because to me, real beauty is obviously not just like the looks. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, of course.
I know females who are super like pretty, like supermodel
Mm-hmm.
pretty. Do you know what I'm saying? But they've got a lot of insecurities. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like their personalities and stuff are like not, they don't have that much of a personality. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And to me, like that, you could be super pretty, but if your personality is like pretty much like nothing, or your attitude is like, what I mean, like ugly. Do you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to be attracted to you to a certain
I,
extent.
th- I
Other
think I
guys,
think I know who you're talking about.
other guys may maybe. Do you know what I mean? But that's just not enough for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
if I wanted that, I'm talking about if I wanted to like settle down with somebody and do you know what I mean, and
yeah.
maybe establish some sort of life or whatever.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Family and kids and stuff. That's not the thing I'm kind of looking at. But you know,
I get
it's
you, but I know exactly what you're saying, and it's not even, to be honest, it's not even down to like, oh yeah, I'm going to settle with this person, so basically they have to have these attributes. Even if you're just hanging out, if you like, let's say what the Americans term like dating, if you're, just going out with someone, maybe going to hang out to the movies, go for, if their personalities isn't right, it's not happening. You know what I mean? No matter how hot they are, you're still going to think, yeah, oh, I'm going to have to sit here and pretend to be interested and kind of try and make stuff up and just be bored, basically, while this is going on. But essentially, it's funny because like the very thing you were saying right there, the perspective of beauty is is so twisted right about now because people don't actually really understand what what real beauty is or what they actually should be looking for. Like there's one person I know personally, and you look at them and they're not what you'd call a conventional beauty, but you hang out with them and you're like, oh my gosh, this girl is so hot, because they just ooze like sexuality and beauty, basically. Now, ordinarily, you could show it to people, and you could like put it side by side with like somebody who looks like a supermodel, and they'd be like, yeah, I'd probably go for this other one. But at the same time, if you were to take somebody who was super hot but with no personality whatsoever, you'd be sitting there, you'd be pulling, it'd be like pulling teeth just hanging out with them. You look at them for 5 seconds and you get bored. In fact, like I think one of the best quotes I've heard actually is it's like it goes something like, show me a pretty woman, and I'll show you a man who's sick of her shit." Basically,
yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah,
good to
yeah.
say. It doesn't matter how hot you are, because after a while, if she can be the bangiest chick. It's like people look at someone like Cheryl Cole and they're like, "Oh, she's so banging" or whatever, and why would Ashley cheat? But yeah, behind closed doors, who knows what's happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Ashley's sitting there with her thinking, you know what, I got nothing in common with this girl, man. Or when we get jiggy, she's just not doing the right things that I like. Maybe he likes like,
Or what, man? Or like, you know what, man? This girl just completely stresses me out. We're just not compatible,
you
man. Do you know what I
know
mean?
that, because the
We're
thing is that,
constantly we're constantly arguing and stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? But as well as that,
yeah,
you talk about that. Do you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
you think about Ashley Cole, footballer. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got women throwing himself, whatever, whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it's like thinking, oh, let me just dabble on the things that you know what I mean, it's not readily available. Do you know what I'm
Or
saying?
one
Let
might
me
be
just try.
exciting, you
Do you
know.
know what I mean? Like you got that whole, David Beckham scenario, which
You
there wasn't really much of a conclusion. It's like, did he? Didn't he? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just
you
like,
know what? I'm gonna put my neck out on this one. I reckon he did. And come on, look
yeah,
at her.
well,
She was just dirty, man. She was dirty. You know, come on, come on.
it's like your type of dirt. It's
You know
like,
what? You know what? Look, I'll tell you straight up, man. As a bloke, I'm a shark. You know, because you know, if I smell blood in the water, I'm just like, you know, my spidey senses just going off. You know what I mean? Now,
but come on, man.
what?
It's Victoria Beckham. How can you cheat on her, man?
Oh, dude, man, I would never have chosen Victoria Beckham in the first place. She looks
Yeah.
like a bloke. She's exactly that sort of the very thing I was talking about. Models looking like, you know, young boys. That's exactly what she is. Straight up and down. Nothing to hold on to. You feel like you'd be like, oh, she's got. Oh, sorry, she broke. Uh, let me try and put her back together again. Using bits of string to kind of tie it back together like some sort of lollipop pop stick, man. You need a machine, man. Something that, you know, weighty, feels like, you know, that just go to war, man. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you're not getting that with a model. You're getting some sort of delicate celery eating, like primate, man. You know, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
happening. You know, but what you'll find is that because a lot of football players tend to do stuff like that, where you think it's kind of what are they doing? Like even Wayne Rooney, didn't he have that
Yeah,
thing with that granny, man? That, you know, that it's like,
Granny.
yeah, it's like apparently like he went to a prostitute and it was like, it wasn't like a hot one. It was like this old woman, basically, man.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. Yo, what about Hugh Grant, mate?
a perfect example.
Mm,
Hugh Grant, what was he at the time? He was going out with Liz Hurley. Yeah, or was he going out with Liz Hurley at the time, or was it
I think
afterwards? I can't
so.
remember.
Whatever, man.
But he's the sort of guy who gets Liz Hurley. Yeah, you saw Liz Hurley in that dress, man. She was banging, but at the same time, my man is just like, you know what? I'm just gonna go on the streets of Hollywood Boulevard and just pick up some dirt, just dirt. You
Oh, see, that's the thing,
know what
man.
I'm
It's just
saying?
like,
Because what men like and what women think men like are two different things, bro.
so you're saying they're saying that like us men, we just like dirt.
You know what? Some men like dirt. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
Yo,
gonna lie. You know what? If I was to talk to you about some of the things I look at on YouPorn, man, you'd be surprised, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, man.
I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
that's
tell
for your own private, viewing, should I
I
say?
share you a link, man.
No, please don't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's
I know me and
big.
you have been friends for a while, man, but it is a line. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do not cross that line. Do you know what I'm
Come on,
saying?
man.
No links, no hyperlinks,
We've been
no
friends for
nothing.
years, man.
Yeah.
We used to share everything, man. So we'll share this, man.
Yeah, we're definitely not sharing that. Do not send me that link. I do
Yeah,
not
man.
want to know, man. Do you know what I'm
It's all
saying?
about the chubby chicks, man. The BBW, man. Yes.
Oh my days, man. Like, really? Like, seriously? Oh my
I said
days.
the extra mature, man.
Is that what you do
Look,
you know what I mean? Is
I
that what
might have a
you're on?
look sometime, man. I might have a little peek and say, oh, there's one in particular though, man. There's one in particular.
Oh, so you got like a little you've got your favorites, do you know what I'm saying? Like do you know what I
You know
mean? A
the
quick
joke. The,
add to your favorites and shit, do you know what I'm saying? Like you better the cookies and that shit, man, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
what are you
Like
talking about cookies, man? I use Chrome browser incognito, bruv. Guess me, no cookies stored on you, man.
what on Chrome? How do you do that?
On Chrome, you go to the if you go. Have you not used incognito on Chrome? If you
Nah,
go
what's
to if you go to like hold on, like right at
yeah,
the far.
I'm on the Mac. Is it on the settings or something?
Yeah. It's where this. You know when you go to the far end and it says customize and control Google Chrome.
Is this on the Mac or? Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I
and
see that.
anyone, man. If
Yeah,
you
yeah,
click on that,
yeah, yeah. I seen that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Customize and whatever.
yeah, if you click on that, it'll
Mm.
go new tab, new window, new incognito window.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that's what you want, man.
What's that, man? New incognito window.
It
What's
means it
that?
doesn't store any cookies on you or anything like that. So, you know,
Wow,
you can look at wherever you want to look at, man.
really? That's nuts, man.
Yeah, it does say. I mean, it does say there are certain things that won't get past. It's not completely encrypted, but like for basic stuff, if some, like usually what happens is that when you look at something, and so you come back and you start trying to fill it out and autofills and stuff like that. That's not going to happen. It doesn't show up in your history, nothing. You know. So
Damn, it's
yeah, man.
nuts. So I can go on Facebook and you know what I mean. Like they can't be collecting information on me and stuff, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
That's not quite out.
Well, I don't know. It might do. It might do. Have a look and see. Have a look and see. Because the thing is that for me, I just use it strictly for stopping things from coming up in my
And look,
history.
we already know why you use that thing. We've already
Yeah,
established
man.
that.
You know,
But tell
just
me, what do cookies do, man? Why? What you know what I mean? Like,
why are people getting all upset about it? Cookies
yeah,
do a number of different things. From what I know, because the things that you know me. I mean, I'm more of a designer than a developer. So, but cookies, what happens is that when you go to a site, a cookie will store a bit of will store some information from that site on your machine, so that when you go back to it,
yeah,
or when you go back to a certain part of the site, it doesn't have to go back to the server to get all the information. It can just quickly like fill in the details, like really quickly, and make your browsing experience smoother, basically. But what can happen is that um, if somebody's trying to hack your machine or something like that, they can use use a cookie to store a bit of dodgy info on your machine, and then later on.
why do people have cookies, man? If it's that uncertain, why do they
Well,
generate?
I don't think it's that uncertain. I think most of the time cookies are completely benign, and they're there for your benefit of making things run quicker, basically. It's like, okay, let me give you a little rough example. When if you go to a web page, and then you click off it, like you shut down your window and or you shut down your browser, you open it back again and it opens up the web page as it was, basically. That's what a cookie will do. It stores the information like locally, so
Okay,
that things can get popped straight back up again, basically. You know, now that's not a bad thing, but it can be like everything can be manipulated to make it bad. You know what I mean?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I think that's part of the problem, where people didn't know that that was what was happening.
Mm.
So when it did go bad, everybody would be like, well, why is this thing on my machine in the first place? So now every single website has to tell you if they're going to put a cookie in your account, or like uh, because because it does various things, like it stores like sessions. So if you've been using it, if you're using it to on a shopping, if you're doing a shopping cart or something, and you want to, if you're like buying something from Amazon, you put stuff in the shopping cart, and you want
Yeah.
it to recall again, instead of having it to go to the server, get the information, come back again, it'll store it locally on your machine, and then they'll kind of go, right, this is what we're doing, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's handy. You want to have things like cookies. They're not really a big deal, but you know, but basically that's my rudimentary explanation of it. I'm sure like you'll have some techies out there who'll be like, what the hell's this guy talking about, man? He doesn't know about cookies. Yeah, right. I
Yeah,
don't know, man.
yeah,
You'll be
that's
right.
nuts, bruv. Yeah, that's nuts, mate. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. But Nana, did you check out those videos I sent you, man? Oh well,
Which
there was a
which one?
well, actually, there was the one I
What, that
sent you.
3 hour
There
documentary
was a
thing?
3 hour documentary. I didn't watch.
Nah,
I haven't
don't check
watched
that.
all of it
Don't
yet,
check that
man.
one that yet, man.
All right, but did you check out the podcast as well? The one with
The what?
Anonymous. the podcast.
Oh no, no, I'm not. I've been shit. I need to
Oh,
check.
you've been rubbish, man. You had time. I thought you were gonna be like, I thought you were gonna be sitting there bored, looking for something to do, man.
I've always got something to do. That's the thing about it. Do you know what I'm saying? Always got something to do. But yeah, just um, yeah, man. It's just nah, I know how to look at it, man. Do you know what I'm saying? But
See, yeah.
I was checking that. What's it? That guy that did a sky. You know, what I mean, jump from 24 miles,
Yeah,
whatever,
I saw a quick bit of that on the
space and
news,
stuff,
man. I saw a
and
bit
that
of
was nuts,
that
mate.
was
Do you know
nuts.
what I'm saying?
I want to see the whole thing, but I only saw the little bit that they showed on the news because I'm waiting for the video to um to come up fully on YouTube, man.
Yeah, I saw on YouTube. I saw well, I saw. I
Oh,
think it
did
was
you?
on Daily Motion or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I have to check that out, man. But you know
yeah.
what? That's like the one thing that I think people are still failing to see. I can't wait till people watch that and the actual reality of it hits them. Is when you're watching him and he's looking down on the earth. There's
Mm,
one thing I notice every time, and I don't think a lot of people register it, is that there are no borders. There are no real borders of between any countries.
yeah,
The
true.
world is just one big place. But we, in our minds, have created borders and we draw them on maps and we tell our children, okay, there's this bit here we can't go to unless you've got this piece of paper, and but actually there are no real borders. If like a nuclear explosion goes off in bloody Fukushima, the winds will carry it across into California and they'll take it into, the Philippines or into mainland China. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you are, because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's no like big walls dividing everything up into like little neat sections. And that I think is a revelation that I think is going to happen shortly and it needs to happen because we need to start thinking like as as one community on a planet.
Yeah, but when do you reckon that's going to happen? I mean, it's all well and good.
Well,
I definitely. You know when I reckon that will happen.
when
Do you know what I'm saying? Is this when you know the extraterrestrials and stuff like decide to reveal themselves in the real. Do you know what I'm saying? And people, oh shit! Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, we are all one race. Do you know what I'm saying? We are like humans and stuff, and it's us against the extraterrestrials. I think that's when I reckon that
yeah.
people may forget about borders, man, because they've just realized that there's extraterrestrial beings and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you see, this is getting interesting now, man. This is getting spicy. When you're talking about extraterrestrials, so what exactly are you thinking is going to occur? What's your personal take? Do
You already know,
do you,
bruv.
but I have an idea, man. I have an idea, man. But I want to kind of get a sort of more in depth discussion, man. So
Well, I mean, I use the term extraterrestrials, but when it comes down to it, we are all extraterrestrials to a certain extent, innit?
so
Yeah,
now there
you
we
know what
go.
I mean. So,
you know,
so again, it's. I'm just trying to use like the layman's, description.
mhm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Like ancient religions have touched on it. Do you know what I mean? Even like the conventional religions have touched on it. Do you know what I mean? That there are some sort of like superior beings that have been in this earth, have been part of this earth. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? From different galaxies or whatever, whatever. Do you know what I mean? And it's basically there's a lot more about this world that the layman doesn't really know much about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they're just more interested or been forced to think about, for example, talk about Jimmy Savile just to kind
Yeah.
of like distract them from what's actually happening. Do you know what I mean? Or like, what, flipping Victoria Beckham is doing, whatever, whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
you got that type of things. But when it comes down to it, there's been clear indications. I know
Mm.
me and you, we've had various conversations and stuff. 'Cause I
Oh,
know you're kind of like
definitely.
the scientific dude. Do you know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
That wants to see proof. Like, do you know what I mean? And it asks for you to believe. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm
Well,
just saying, like,
okay. Well. See, you're right on that. You're right on that, and I'll kind of go into it just now, actually, because I know the angle you're coming from because I've been to that point because I remember we've all gone through we've all looked at the same videos, we've talked about the same things, we've been talking about it for decades basically. Now, however, recently I've been I've been kind of thinking about things a little bit differently though, and I'm actually thinking that actually a lot of what these religions talk about isn't as, let's say, it isn't as sort of um, isn't as out there as they make it seem, if you see what I mean. And it actually it ties in, but at the same time, not as literally, if you see what I mean. Let me put it this way: in the same way as you read, you know, if you look up books like the Bible, the Torah, Dead Sea Scrolls, all that kind of stuff, and if you read it literally, you start to think of, um, there's this man in the sky with a long beard, and he makes all these rules, and you have to follow them, or else you'll go to this place full of fire and burning, and and he'll destroy you, even though he's supposed to love you. Well, try and make sense of that one. If you can have people who translate it literally, where it sounds like, oh, literally, like, oh, there is this guy, and he could reach his hand down from the sky and pick you up and do whatever he wants with you. And then at the same time, we've got you know guys going up in a weather balloon up into the edge of space, and you can see down on the earth and everything, and you realize that actually, hold on a second, there isn't a guy in the sky. And so where is this guy? Is he a couple of planets away? Is he, is he at the top of the galaxy, or is he at the top of the universe? All of a sudden, it starts kind of making you ask all these extra questions. Some people won't ask these questions. They stop there and they kind of go, no, 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 no. There's somehow I can integrate the two together. At the same time, when you start talking about extraterrestrials, you start getting to the same point again, because all of a sudden you've gone back to the big guy in the sky again, except this time you've just made the distance greater. You've just gone, okay, well, it's an extraterrestrial, so basically they're from another planet, so they've got to be from another galaxy light years away, and you've just increased the distance where this person in the sky who manipulates everything is. Do you see what I'm saying?
mm-mm.
Yeah. So then I started thinking, well, basically, there's all that, and it makes you look up there, and you forget about what's actually down here, and it makes you forget about all the strange things that already happen on this planet, are possible to happen on this planet. Like, for starters, you know, now I like my greens, yeah, and
Indeed.
when you take this plant which grows from the ground, and you add some fire to it, and all of a sudden, your perception has changed. Yeah, the way you think about things has changed, and all of a sudden, food tastes better, and when you watch a movie, it you kind of draws you in differently. Or at the same time, you can pluck a fungus, a mushroom from the ground, you ingest it, and it does the same to you, but in a slightly different way. Your perceptions get altered, the colors seem brighter, or you can hear some music, and obviously the music turns into colors and stuff like that. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you've actually got stuff that are on this planet itself that do things that you think are of extraterrestrial nature. Do you
Yeah.
see what I
Okay.
mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I started looking into that, I came across this thing called DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is supposed to be the chemical that's in your pineal gland. you know, and it's supposed to be the chemical that's responsible for your dream state, for when you
Mm-hmm.
sleep at night and when you dream. I don't know how much of that is true. I know that it apparently it like from scientific evidence proves that it's already in the body. It's in the human body. Yeah, you
Yeah.
already get it in the human body. It's in loads. It's like millions of plants, um, and it's literally all around us. It's everywhere. Now, every single account I've heard of people who have taken this, they all say the same thing. They say they feel like they go to a place where they've been before. They are there's always lots of talks about snakes, and being able to communicate with these snakes or reptiles. Um, they know them. They uh, they they feel quite comfortable with them. They give them information about everything, about how everything is, and they help them kind of work things out. Those who take, because there's two different forms of DMT. There's the crystalline form, which obviously humans have found a way to make it purer. And apparently,
Mm-hmm.
when you take that, literally within you take it and it's like you blast off. You the next thing you know, you're somewhere else completely. Like
Mm-hmm.
not like when you have mushrooms and you're kind of like you know where you are. You're chilling. You know you've got the things are a bit wavy or whatever. No, no, no. This blasts you off somewhere else. You know, like galaxies and all that kind of shit. You know, and then there's the oral form, which is called ayahuasca, which they do in the Brazilian Amazon, basically, where shamans, and it's like 8 hours where they completely, they mix a vine, two different plants together, and you drink it, and you have these visions, and you communicate with whatever, you know. Now, all the accounts always come out quite similar, and when I heard that, I thought that's really interesting. I wonder whether the reason all these accounts are similar is because maybe it opens up to a gateway somewhere, and and if it does open up to a gateway somewhere, then is this the same thing that people are writing about, talking about, but when people like us finally hear about it in documentaries and whatever, we start to look at it literally and start to think, oh, actually, yes, there are like, because they took Nana, the amount of accounts of people talking about reptiles is unbelievable,
Isn't it?
unbelievable. Every single one of them. There's always some. The last one I heard was a guy called Aubrey Aubrey Marcus, and he was on Joe Rogan's. He had just done it. He'd just come back like 2 weeks after he was talking about it, and he said he was riding a dragon. Basically, so he was riding a dragon, and the dragon was telling him about himself, about things he needs to sort out in his life to get straight. Showed him all kinds of magnificent things. There was like a glowing orb of light which he swallowed, and he didn't know what it did, but it changed him in some way.
Mm.
But yeah, there's a lot of talk about reptiles in it, and basically, Then I thought to myself, you've got people like David Icke talking about reptilian people, and I was like, this, or even what's that guy, the South African guy,
Kwedu Matwa.
Credu Matwa. He talks about it. The Dogon tribe of Mali, they talk about it, and I start thinking to myself, there's so many connections going on here, but this isn't about looking up. It's actually about looking in, if you see what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
that's
about
what I'm
something
saying.
that's already occurring here, but because we don't experience it, we don't think about it in that way. And I think actually today I heard the quote that really made me think. You know what? This is where we have to really really get to the grips with it. And if I give me one, let me just get the quote out because it's so good. Basically, it's a guy called Alex Gray, and he
Hmm.
says, "Don't submit to the authority of any religious dogma until you have fully examined reality." And I thought to myself, you know what? That's right, because there's so much. There's like you've got one side, you've got Islam, you've got Christianity, you've got, well, not even Christianity, you've got Protestants, Catholics, you've got Seven-day Adventists, you've got Jehovah's Witnesses, you've got
Yeah,
Buddhism.
Islam's also split as well into
Oh
different.
yeah, it's split into like Shia,
Mm.
Sunni, you name it, and everybody's split, and all the cores all come down to the same thing, and they each are trying to get you to follow their way of thinking and their path. But to be honest, I won't even stop there. I won't even stop with the standard religions, because I think they're new ones. There's stuff like Nuwabiism. I think
Hmm.
that's a new religion, and and then there's the religion of that I think we've got now, which is this new internet religion of like stuff like David Icke and Alex Jones. They've got their own little religions going on
Hmm.
because they draw you in into like their field of thought, and because you're following so directly what they're saying, you don't cross check what they're saying with other people. You kind of go, yeah, well, they're right. It starts off
Yeah.
because I remember at the very beginning, a lot of them were like, yeah, check out what I'm saying, check this out, go and double check these facts, you know, and you start to double check, and then after a while you stop double checking because you kind of go, yeah, well, yeah, I've double checked these are true, so yeah, the rest must be true,
Yeah.
and what I've always learned right from day one is that the best way to spin a good yarn is you don't just outright lie like some of the religions do. The best
Yeah.
way to do it is you have 80% of truth and 20% is the lie. Now, because 80% is true, it makes it so easy to us to swallow. Because only 20% is a lie. It will come across and be like, that's a bit weird. That doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't matter because the rest of it is true. It checks out fine. So this bit must check out fine too. We'll just kind of override the fact, you know. Now, for me, I think back to this quote. I refuse to submit to any authority of any religious dogma of this is what we're saying and we reckon it's true until I've examined anything that I think has merit in the physical realm, basically.
Mm.
You know, so that's my take, and I know it's kind of like it's quite sort of scientific, and the approaches, but as I said, that we are pretty good at measuring things nowadays, man. We can detect things, so we should be able to detect things that are not of this world, basically, and that's what I'm waiting to see, basically.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Whether it's going to be in your lifetime, but yeah. I mean, to be honest, it's actually going to be. I strongly do believe that it's going to be within our lifetime that things will be a bit more clearer into that side
Oh,
of things. I mean, to be
yeah.
honest, Brian, it's just like I don't know the amount of old religions, ancient religions, to conventional religions, to the new religions. You know what I mean? They're all kind of like, and even science to a certain extent, they're
Mm.
all kind of like embedded, intertwined with each other. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
Oh
just kind of
yeah.
like, you just read between the lines and stuff. And again, it's all about perception. Do you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But I strongly do feel that there are things that are you know away from the norm. Do you know what I'm saying? In terms of like the layman's norm, or they like to regard as like the sheep. Do
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and there's so much proof, not certain proof, but there's been so much like you know talk
Mm.
and things that have been written down
Yeah.
that it's actually impossible. Is actually within a matter of time, not impossible. Is within a matter of time that things will become revealed. And to be honest, it is kind of like happening
Oh,
anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's
do
already
you know what I
halfway
mean?
there. You're
It's
right.
already, it's already halfway there. And it's literally just a matter of time. Do you know what I mean? When things will get there. Do you know what I mean?
No, I see what you're saying. I mean, basically, if you look at stuff like Occupy and, you know, groups like Anonymous popping out of the woodwork, things like, you know, even people like the Zeitgeist movement, all that sort of stuff, and the things that are happening in Madrid right about now, the things that are happening in Bahrain, it's all, there's like a reaction going on. And half the people involved in some of these things might not directly know why they're doing what they're doing, but there's there, and some things had an effect on them that has made them react the way they're reacting. You know.
See, well, I mean, you probably know more about it than me, man. But like, some people are saying that the reasons why people are kind of like rising up, and do you know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the genuine things that people
Mm-hmm.
like revolutions, whatever that's been happening,
Yeah.
whatever you call genuine. But yeah, it's also kind of also been down to like the planets. Do you know what I'm saying? And like the alignment and what's
Mm-hmm.
happening, and because like like the moon, whatever the effect of the moon that has on its tides and stuff. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And because we are a considerably we share a considerably percentage of water in our build up. Do you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That not only that it affects the tides and stuff. Do you know what I mean? It also affects us as well in terms of like our mood swings and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, how we interact with people
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And you know I don't know who was you or somebody else, but I mean, it's been told that that the planets and things that are surrounding us in our galaxies and
Yeah.
beyond is also creating an effect. Do you know what I mean on people
Oh,
itself?
I know exactly what you're talking about there, because I mean I've talked about this many times actually about how basically, yeah, if
It's like there's a bigger. This it's like it's like there's a bigger picture to this situation. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
oh,
like,
most
why
definitely.
is it now? For example, like David Icke. I mean, he was like frowned upon from his own beliefs and what he was saying and stuff like that. He was heckled and stuff like that, and then he did started doing some little seminars and stuff. Only a handful of people are coming,
Mm-hmm.
and now is literally like filling up like arenas like Brixton Academy and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? People
Oh yeah,
queuing.
yeah.
I've driven past there and I've seen queues of people trying to get tickets that have been sold out and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh
So it's
yeah.
kind of like,
I,
you know,
I, I see exactly what you're saying there. I mean, some of it, I mean, okay, as far as how I mean, when I go back to, let me just go back a little bit, because when we're talking about the moon theory and the effects and stuff like that, with some of that, because because I had those theories quite little while ago, and some of them I still stick with, that these are questions that definitely need to be asked and definitely need to be thought about. But some of them at the same time, I've been reconsidering them, because I've been listening to astrophysicists,
hmm
and one of them actually said something that made me really rethink my view on it a lot, actually. Not completely, but a lot, because I definitely think the moon has an effect on humans, because the moon has an effect on bodies of water, and we are over 70% water, basically. So
exactly.
it's bound to have an effect on us. In fact, the term lunatic comes from the loon, and basically, the moon affecting the waters of the brain or whatever. But the other things it made me consider, when I was, because there's a guy called Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I think I've sent you one of his videos before. You have to listen to this man, because
Yeah, definitely will check that
this
out.
is the thing. These are, I check out people who, they may not necessarily uh, like sort of verify any particular theory I might have. They may be completely anti what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
but because they are a specialist in a particular field, it means I've got to consider what they're saying, because there's a lot of stuff they're going to know that I won't actually have proper information on, if you know what I'm saying.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of people who will talk like they know about, you know, they'll talk about, they know about galaxies like they know it, but have they been looking into, in like telescopes and have they been studying it? Have they been doing the mathematics? I mean, you know yourself from being an electronic engineer that
Mm.
I could sit here and go, well, electronics can work this way, and I can theorize about it. But until you've actually started working with gates and, started working with circuitry, you don't know what you're talking about, basically. But
Yeah.
anyway, so this dude, and he was talking about because everybody talks about star signs, for instance. Yeah, I'm just trying to generalize here. So, you know, they talk about star signs and how star signs have an effect on people. And I remember I thought about this theory, and I thought, yeah, maybe it does. Maybe the stars in the sky in a particular alignment will have an effect on you. But then they pointed out, actually, if you're thinking about it, because you're looking at the stars from a fixed point upwards, you
Yeah.
know, and when we look at the stars from here, we look up, they make those patterns. But
Hmm.
what if you're on the moon and you're looking at the stars? Or what if you're on the sun and you're looking at the stars? They don't make those patterns anymore. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're in a different galaxy, those patterns don't exist because we're looking at it from one fixed dimension, and our
Hmm.
brains are thinking about them in a sort of two-dimensional. We're looking at the stars like they're two-dimensional flat surface, but they're not. They've got like space in between them and everything. So why would those particular stars and a particular, if they're not even near to each other, why would they have an effect on you? Do you see what I mean? And
Yeah.
that started making me rethink about what I thought about how stars in particular might affect you. Now, what Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about, he's like, well, everybody's talking about there being a galactic alignment, and that's why there's going to be a shift in everything. And he says, as an astrophysicist, I could tell you this: galactic alignments happen all the time, you know, because it depends what angle you're looking at them from, you know.
Hmm.
Now, if we take it at the angle that we usually with where we are now, yeah, it looks like there's galactic alignment, but most of the time, even if we're around our planet somewhere else, there's still a galactic alignment happening. It's just not from the same view.
Hmm.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Nah.
so
Here.
yeah, so basically, stuff like that started making me think. Actually, if you stop looking at the way the planets are and the way the galaxy works in a sort of flat perspective like we do normally,
Hmm.
just naturally, because that's how we look at them when we look at the skies, then all of a sudden you realize, actually, okay, well, hold on a second, this is happening all the time, so why would one alignment be different from another? But saying that, I'll tell you what I think is having an effect there, and that's solar flares. I think solar flares from the sun are having some kind of effect. And that is mostly because, one, there's been disruptions to sort of radio signals, sort of electricity, all from solar flares. We've had the largest recorded solar flares
Yeah.
um, since we've been observing them. And basically, solar flares do send out large sort of rays of bursts of gamma rays. Now, I'm no scientist, so I can't tell you what gamma rays do, but I'll tell you what: if microwaves let you cook food, and if X-rays let you see through bone, and radio waves let me talk to you across, hundreds of miles, then gamma rays probably do something. I can't tell you
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
but they probably do something. And the things that we don't, there's so many things
It
that we
did
just
something to Bruce Banner.
turn him green into the Hulk, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Oh, sorry, slight diversion. You've seen the Avengers, haven't you?
Yeah.
How sick is that, man?
The
I have
Avengers movie.
Avengers movie.
Yeah, man, it's pretty good, man. I do like that, man.
I tell you, that's the first time I watched a comic book movie, and for me, it ticked pretty much all of the boxes. It wasn't.
Have you seen Batman yet, though?
I haven't seen Batman yet. I'm
Yeah,
still waiting for
that's
that.
pretty good, man.
Is
To be
it?
honest, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know
I
what?
saw
I've
that.
I've heard so many conflicting views about it, but I think I'm going to like it because I think Chris Nolan's a genius. Basically, you can't.
Yeah,
He's one guy. I think you can't fuck with him at the moment. Basically, You just can't because he's too much. He's too much of a geek. He's a film geek.
Mm.
He's not like Tarantino film geek, but he's a film geek in the sense that when he's making a film, everything has to be everything has to work together as a unit. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think when I watched Inception, I was like, this guy is clearly on top of his
yeah. It's
filmmaking
on a
game.
different level,
He's
man.
on a different level, man.
But have you heard about that new Superman film? Also, Man of Steel.
I've heard about that. You know what? Superman has never really. He's
But
never.
apparently Christopher Nolan has got something to do with it, man.
Oh, has he?
I think he's
Producing
probably
it.
producing it and stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Maybe. Maybe. I'll see.
Let's see what IMDb is saying, man. Do you know what I'm
You see,
saying?
this is the thing. Superman. I don't know. I don't know. He's never. He's not the guy. He's not. He's not one of my heroes. Let's just put it
Really?
like that. Nah. I'm not a fan. I'll tell you what. Okay, you know the weird thing is that I like the original. I like Superman 1 and 2. I even like. You know what? I even like Superman 3, even though it was one of the rubbish ones. You know. But in fact, no. Superman 3. Yeah, I like Superman 3. I even sort of semi like Superman 4. You
Yeah,
know.
apparently he's a writer
Oh,
for
he's a
Man of Steel.
writer.
Yeah, mate.
Okay, this could be interesting. Could be
Yeah, mate.
interesting.
Let me see what
But
and
I think
yeah, he's a writer and a producer for that. Do you know what I'm saying?
okay. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah,
You know,
mate.
I'll give it a shot because I like Chris Nolan. I like his writing. He does a good game. The guy knows what he's talking about. You know, and he writes with his brother, and I like the fact that they're like a team and they deliver like wicked shit, man. You know,
Yeah,
but
sure. So he's from London, right? He's a Londoner.
yeah, it's London boy. You
Uh,
know, that's
yeah,
it, man.
that is nuts.
I'm telling
Oh,
you, it's funny, man. The UK has finally taken it. Well, they've not taken it, but they've pretty much gotten a proper tight grip in Hollywood about now, man.
yeah, but I mean, you say that, but I think the UK has always had a tight grip. I've always been in bed with Hollywood, though. Don't you think? Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but they never really had the same. They haven't had such an influence as they do now, because before you had. I mean, now you've clearly got like top-notch British directors, writers, and you know, I tell you what really made that point over to me was when I was watching Game of Thrones, and I was
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
okay,
Yeah, man.
You know what, Game of Thrones is so sick, man. You know,
Yeah,
I was, you know what, I wasn't disappointed, but the end of season 2 didn't really get me as, it didn't get me as pumped as I thought it would. You know,
Mhm.
because it kind of felt like zombie movie, that kind of thing. But I know they're gonna pull it off still because up until now, for me it's more about how they illustrate the the game, the way the whole game is played, the whole chess
yeah,
game for ruling.
yeah,
That's the bit I find the most interesting because you know that that game has been played for centuries, and you know half the stuff that they show in there is probably accurate to a majority of some of the some of the rulers that there have been. You know, because this is the thing: history books will never tell you those gory details, but this will show you the details. And for
yeah,
that,
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, that's good, that's good, man. You know, but it's all I mean, the all of it, man. The inbreeding, the incest, the the sort of stuff like having, you know, having like um, people just being so brutal to family members. To it's just all, and you know that because if you look at like when we learned history in school, we heard some of those stories, but never the same. When you read them, it doesn't. You kind of go, oh, okay. So yeah, so Henry VIII had loads of wives, and most of them he had beheaded. You know, yeah, okay, that's kind of interesting. But it's not the same as when you're watching it dramatized and you're watching this guy just, you know, just you know that this dude is just messed up and he's gonna put someone's head on a spike, man.
Nah, I hear.
It's kind of interesting when they put it from that perspective, I think, man. You know,
Yeah, man. But yeah,
you know,
gosh, yeah. No, I hear what you're saying,
I've kind
man.
of strayed off point, but basically, yeah, basically, when I watched that, then I realized how influential sort of British crew members and directors and cast had become in the Hollywood way of life, basically.
Yeah, yeah. You know that, man.
You know,
Gosh.
it's kind of interesting there, because I I'm waiting to see how things pan out on the cinematic front because you've heard the Wachowskis have got a new one coming out?
Are they? What's it
Yeah,
called? What's it
it's
called?
called Cloud Atlas.
Cloud. Okay, let me
Now
see.
then, watch the
Tom
trailer.
Hanks.
Yeah,
Tom Hanks and
Tom
Halle
Hanks.
Berry.
Yes, watch the trailer, man. It's kind
When's
of
that coming out?
it's it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. It's either going to end up being the most amazing film ever, or it's going to be a complete disaster.
Well, it's got an 8.4 on IMDb.
8.4.
Mm.
I
But then
didn't.
again,
I didn't think it'd been released yet.
I mean, well, they've got like
A trailer review.
a trailer.
Yeah,
I think it's at the 22nd of February 2013.
yeah. It's going to be interesting because it's apparently it spans like 6 generations, and it's got the same cast playing like 6 different people and different ethnicities and stuff like that. It's madness, man. You know,
Scene. Yeah, I'm
it's
just,
it goes from being in the past to being in the future. You watching it now?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, check it out, man. This is nuts, man. It probably goes on for like 6 minutes or something. Yeah. In fact, while you're watching, I'm gonna pause the recording for a second
Cool.
because it's long.
Oh, shit.
All right, man. So, okay, so basically you finished watching that.
Yeah, man.
So,
Pretty good, man.
well, see, that's the thing. It's pretty crazy because the way like you've seen from the trailer, they jump around so much. Now the
Yeah.
question is, in the long term, when you're watching it as a movie, how they're going to bring that all together. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, man.
And
Definitely looks like a.
and also, I don't know whether you've heard, but the whole thing they're doing. I think the distribution is being done independently, so they finance the movie themselves. I think,
Okay.
if I'm right, and they're doing the rest independently, like through like Kickstarter or something, one of those things, basically.
Mm.
So it's going to be interesting to see, man. I'm quite curious because you know, unlike okay, so because unlike most people, I mean, I like all of the Matrix trilogy. I know that Matrix 3 wasn't as popular,
Mm.
but I kind of liked it still because for me it was more back to that anime flavor basically.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And you know me, man, I like my anime, so when I was watching that I was like, yeah, I'm all good with that. I like that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And but I didn't like Speed Racer. In fact,
I'm
I
not
thought
seeing that
you
one.
haven't seen that one.
Nah, I'm not
Mm,
seeing that one.
mm, you know, visually, it looks like you are proper tripping your nut off, man. It looks
See.
like visually, it looks sick, but as far as movie making goes, it's alright. Wasn't really into it. Uh,
Okay.
and what was the other one? Oh, they produced V for Vendetta. I like V for Vendetta, so that's a sick
Yeah,
film.
I'm not seeing that one either.
You've got to watch it, man. Watch V for Vendetta, and then you'll understand why the mask of V is the symbol of Anonymous, basically, man.
Viva Vendetta.
Yeah, V for Vendetta.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright, so Hugo Weaving in there as well.
yeah. So Hugo Weaving in there as well, man. They didn't
Yeah.
direct that one. I don't know whether. I don't think they directed it. I think they produced it. But it's pretty much it's a lot of it is full of their touches. Yeah,
Yep, looks like that's what I'll be watching. Definitely will check that out, man.
do
Do you know
it,
what I'm
man.
saying?
Do it.
It
Well,
looks like a Yeah,
You got to check the other links I sent you as well, man. That's your homework, bro. I'm telling you,
yeah, I definitely will
there's
be.
because there's stuff there I want to discuss with you, especially that 3 hour documentary, man. I know it's long, man. I know
Yeah,
it's long,
that's
but it's like I've only watched the first hour. I've got to watch the rest. But that it it made me start to kind of rethink a lot of things, man.
you
Made
know.
me rethink a lot of things.
Yeah, I need
Yeah,
to check this. There's just too many things, man. Do you know what I
there's
mean?
too many things, man.
There's just
But
too many things to kind of like,
you know,
to watch. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, but
proper
yeah,
information overload, man. I'm telling you.
you know, I
Welcome,
definitely will be checking it out though. Still,
welcome to the information age, man. You know.
well, thank you, man. This first has been pretty good, mate. Been pretty good. Yeah,
You know.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah,
So I reckon we should wrap it up for another.
yeah. Let's bring this ship home, man. You know, and but you know what? This for me, Nans. This just feels like a warm up, man. This is just a warm up.
Yeah, it's a warm
You
up.
know,
I reckon.
if
I think. I think. I mean, are you able to record like on Google Hangout? You can
yeah,
do it
yeah, yeah.
though.
Well, the reason I was kind of thinking I might not do it straight on Google Hangout is because Google Hangout publishes it straight to YouTube. With this, as you can see, I can, we can do it now and pause a bit, come off it, change something. And worst case, if we finish this and like, you know what, nah, I don't know, I don't have to put it up. With Google
Yeah.
Hangouts, it's straight on, it's live,
Isn't
so
there like an app like this for what I mean, Google Hangout and stuff? Do you know what I'm saying?
not that I've noticed yet. I've had a look. I've been looking because the things that I like Google Hangouts because you can share video,
Yeah,
and
man.
then you can both watch it and discuss it at the same time, that kind of thing, and you can get more people on it as well. Because the thing about Skype is that when you go for a conference call, I think you can't do it unless you go for the premium Skype package, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm still. What I might do is I'm thinking that on some occasions might go for a hangout. Other occasions might just go for like the Skype, record it, and then But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is the thing. This is like for me. These are just the beginnings. This is like for me. This is podcast number 2, basically. Even though
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
done like number 1, and I've done a couple of interview shots with like. You saw the one with Diana and
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lily, and I'm trying to do one with McMash Clan at the moment, and I've got
Cool.
to call up good old Matthew Harry Shotter,
Cool.
and Mara, but gotta. This is just the beginning because as I said, man, I've seen this template work, and it works because there's stuff that the mainstream is not talking about. People are not talking about these things. So
Yeah, yeah.
somebody needs to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I
Somebody
hear.
needs to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you know what I mean. I think this is a warm up act, man. I think over the next few months, we'll just do a few more of these, man.
Yeah,
And
mate. Definitely.
I know you're the man behind the camera, but it's nice to get you in front of the camera, speaking your mind. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah, man. I'm just warming up, man. Just getting used to the surroundings and shit. You know what I'm saying?
you know the weird thing, man, because you spend more time on video chat than I do, but I found it that for me it's kind of like yeah, it's alright.
Nah,
I can
I
cope
wouldn't
on.
say that. I mean, I'll say yeah. Back in the days, like I was a proper like Skype champion. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Yo, Skype, Skype, Skype."
yeah,
Then you know what, man? I think you know what I mean. Like I just thought, you know what? It's all about being invisible, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah. I get that,
yeah,
man.
just I don't like to be. I don't know. I just feel like I just don't want to be too readily available. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
just I'm just I kind of like my privacy, man, and like what I mean, if you
it's
wanna
vital, man.
people wanna holler me, man, the people close will definitely will be able to holler me one way or another. You get me, man? But
Yeah,
just for any old like even like on Skype, man, you get some random people, man, that's like just trying to call you and shit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like or like
I get
clicking
both.
in like hi, like do you know what I'm saying? I'm
Yeah,
like
I get those,
whatever.
man. I get those where people will suddenly just
Nah,
pop
man.
up and be like, "Hi, I just saw your profile, and you look like you're some great guy to chat to. Will you join?
Yeah, mate.
Will you add me? No, I don't know who you are, bruv.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a long thing, bro.
you
Do you
know
know
what
what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying, man?
Nah,
Tell
you
you.
know,
But
yeah,
I'll tell you one thing I found with doing these things there, and it's the only thing I noticed, and which is when I first listened back, I was like, I hate the sound of my voice, man. And it's weird. Whenever you listen back to your voice, you always kind of go, I sound retarded, man. I sound like an idiot, you know. But after listening to it a bit, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's alright. I can let that slide, man. And
yeah,
sometimes you just have to take the plunge, just do it, and you're like, fuck it, because you realize that people listening to it won't be listening to it the same way as you're listening to it, you
yeah.
know.
Nah, I hear,
You
I
get
hear.
me? But I think the one that annoyed, well, it didn't annoy me, man. It just made me feel silly, man. It's just I realized that because when I did one with Iana, I felt like I was laughing so much, man. And the joke is that you know what? That's just me. I laugh
Yeah,
all the
of
time,
course.
man. But when you're reflecting on yourself, you kind of start being super critical about everything. Just like I shouldn't be laughing then. I should be more serious, man. It's like fuck it. Why should I be serious, man? who's
Nah, I hear.
who's saying you need to be serious when, man? You're who you are.
Nah,
You get me?
I hear
But
you on that, man.
you
Do
know
you know
what
what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying. But
Yeah.
yeah, man. Let me stop rambling, man. Let's put this to bed. And
All right.
yeah, and yeah, rude boy. Yeah, man. It's been
Yeah,
entertaining.
man. Send me the file. Is it gonna be a file or is it something? Is it like a private link or whatever on YouTube, whatever?
Oh, not until I've uploaded anything, man.
Ah,
I can send you the file first, right? And you check it
cool.
out.
Yeah, that's
I might
what's up.
I'll put it into my. I think I could share from my Google Drive, but I'm not sure. I'll put it into
Yeah,
my
yeah.
box. I'll put it into my box, man. I've got
Your Google Drive.
I could do it in my Google Drive. It doesn't matter, man. I've got 50 gigs of box.net, man. So
Oh, God, they're all
box
the
the
same, man. They're all the
box.
same.
I know, man, but
Box.net.
box.net, man. 50 gigs of free cloud storage, man.
Wow, 50 gigs, you know.
50 gigs, man. You know what? It's a joke because this is just the beginning, man. This is the beginning. Soon you'll get like a terabyte, and you'll be like, bro, I can't believe I used to only have 50 gigs.
Man, that's
You know what I'm
nuts,
saying?
man.
It's coming, man. I love technology, man. I love it.
Yeah,
Guess
yeah,
me.
do you know what I mean? That's nuts.
You know what I'm saying,
Well,
man.
I get 5 gig free and organized. Okay. Anyway, cool. I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out, mate,
Yeah,
man.
man. All right, rude boy.
Cool.
I'm gonna stop recording and then we'll sign out, man.
Record means rewind, a gunshot means forward, 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 forward.